I just basically was trying to look forward to, look at my future and just make the right decision for what I need to do. Well, yeah, I mean, my goal in the sport is to be the #1 fighter, and so that was one of the main considerations, is that I want to fight in an arena where I can fight top-level opponents and make a case for being #1 welterweight in the world. Yeah, I mean, we had quite a few options, I guess, but really when it boiled down to it, there was only one option for us, and that was BAMMA. Well, for sure there were some contract things, but that's not really for talking about publicly. Bottom line, like I said, BAMMA had the best fighters, the best fighter options, and I know from teammates that they treat their fighters right, so that's who we went with. Yeah, I mean, for sure, Paul Daley is a big factor for the decision. He's a guy that I would love to fight, and I think he's a great fighter, and also I think he's a big talker, and I need to shut him up. Just any guys that attack me personally, it's one thing to call a guy out, but to say personal things about him, I think is unnecessary, and so he's definitely a guy I want to fight for more than one reason. Well, I think he's an exciting fighter. He's he puts on a great show. He goes out to fight and not to just win a decision. He goes out to finish guys and to do damage, and those are the guys that I like to fight. I like to fight exciting fighters, and he's a very good striker, and so I think style-wise we match up very well. Well, a lot of people are going to think his wrestling, because he's been beaten by wrestlers in the past, by Koscheck and Woodley, but honestly, I've seen a big improvement in his takedown defense. But everyone has weaknesses. It doesn't matter, what part of the fight you're looking at. He's got weaknesses in his stand-up game, ground game, everything you can look at. So, well, actually, the producer, Greg O'Connor, called me up, and I had no clue who he was, and he told me his brother was the director, Gavin O'Connor, and he's. The name didn't ring a bell, and he told me he did like Miracle on Ice and a couple other very famous movies, and so I looked him up, and I was like, oh man, they basically just kind of called me up out of the blue, and they were like, hey, you want to be in a movie? And at first I was I asked my wife, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take away from training. I don't want to go stay somewhere for 6 weeks. But then once we looked at how much opportunity it was an easy decision, something I had to do. Well, basically, I fought at middleweight pretty much since I was fighting in the UFC, which was around 2005, 2004, yeah, 2005. Before that I was fighting Japan, where it was middleweight, but it was a little bit lower. I think it was like maybe 4 pounds lighter. And before that, I could have fought at 155. I think naturally I'm a lighter weight fighter, and over the years I've tried to keep weight on to fight at the 185. And when I fought Dan Miller in the camp, I was walking around a lot lighter. I decided that I wanted to see how my body reacted to fighting at its more natural weight and letting the weight come off. And I felt so much better. I couldn't believe, I was like, why am I trying to hold this weight on? Even if I fight at 185, that doesn't make sense when I feel better and I feel faster. I have better stamina when I'm 5-10 pounds lighter. So it's just a very easy decision to make, and I think it was the right thing to do.